What is up, Boils and Ghouls? It is Jeff with The Horror Fiend live at Albuquerque Comic Con. And I'm bringing you another interview. If you couldn't tell of who, it is the lovely, amazing, completely awesome and talented Naomi Grossman. Naomi, thank you for agreeing to be on the show again, technically.
No worries.
Okay, so for those of you who didn't know, me and Naomi actually had an interview last year, but audio got screwed up royally, so we were unable to use the video. So she generously agreed to do this again. So we're doing it live. I've never done a live video like this before, so it's kind of
exciting.
It's a trip. So first question, start off with an easy one. We're at Albuquerque Comic Con. How are you enjoying the show so far?
Oh, it's been really fun. Yeah. My mom's from Taos, or lives in Taos now, so I got some, time at home with her. Yeah, and I love this part of the country. Like I said, it's like home.
It's awesome. Yeah, her mom is a blast, just so you guys know. I got to meet her. She is a wonderful lady, so awesome. That's where you get it from. I'm kind of jealous. I wish she was my mom. She just seemed awesome. Okay, so another question that I've been having people ask is, so what got you into acting? Like, what made you decide that this was the industry that you wanted to be in?
Well, my mom, really. She and my dad were both really good about exposing me to culture. We would go to the, theater and the cinema and the ballet and the opera and the you name it. I just always remember, kind of being there, looking up at the stage saying, I want to be up there. Like, why am I down here? So I just always really, I've always just felt really at home, under the lights, with the cameras rolling. From a really young age, I got involved, probably around 10. I started doing children's theater in Denver, which is where I'm from, just,
right up
not
north.
that far from here, really. I did pretty much anything and everything there was to come through Denver, regional commercials, Father Down Mysteries, lots of...
Oh yeah, you've done a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there wasn't a ton then there, nor is there still, but whatever there was, I did.
That's awesome. Okay, and another thing, one of my editor, I think it was the one who wanted me to ask this, was, so out of all the bodies of work that you've done so far, what would you consider to be your personal favorite?
Well, since you're asking, I would say, honestly, my one-woman shows. I have them here, which is what I'm referring to. They're totally autobiographical, pen, self-produced, you name it. I did it all, with the exception of direct, which I can credit Richard Imbardo with. He's the baby daddy, but otherwise I am, I'm a one-woman,
A one-woman machine.
One-woman machine, yeah.
Awesome.
But I would say, I feel like I am most proud of them, mostly because they are all me. I produced these with my, Spanish teacher budget at the time. You know what I mean? As proud as I am of, my work on Horror Story, there's, a million people behind that. You know what I mean? You have to credit, countless Emmy and Oscar winners to make that happen. Whereas this was all me.
That's amazing. I appreciate work more like this, just because that's important. Like you said, it's all you. So that's mind blowing.
Well, it's depressing that these don't get bought up the way the way this does, because this costs 10 cents at Kinko's, and this is blood, sweat, and tears. But
you guys go buy them. Buy them. We'll plug your shop. You have a shop, right?
I don't. This is
How the
it.
hell do you not have a shop? She doesn't have a shop. We need to get you a shop.
Well, I
set
can
up.
tell you this. I do. They are a perk on Patreon.
There we go.
So
That
if
works.
people become a patron on Patreon, they can get these. Otherwise, you have to see me at a con.
Guys, follow her on Patreon. Do it. It's freaking awesome. Come on now. Okay, so speaking of American Horror Story, just because everybody's going to want to know, so how did you come about getting the part of Pepper? And because you're an iconic character in the series between Asylum and not only Asylum. How you doing, sir? Not only Asylum, but you're in Freak Show, which is my personal favorite. I loved Freak Show because it gave Pepper more of a backstory, and that was mind blowing. Like, I love your character, and I'm not saying that just because I'm not kissing ass. I swear I'm not. Like, I'm being honest. Like, Pepper is one of my favorite characters. I cried during Freak Show. Like, I felt horrible for that character, and I don't cry during crap. So, but yeah, how did you come about getting that role for Pepper and just killing it the way that you did?
Aw, thank you. I had an audition. My agent called with an audition, and I remember talking to a dear friend of mine who watched a lot of TV, so that he could kind of fill me in on what I'd missed, because I hadn't seen it yet. He told me all about the Murder House. Of course, none of that mattered. None of that actually helped me at all, other than maybe filling me in on like the tone of the show. The audition itself consisted of a monologue of Jessica Lange's, as well as a little bit of an improv. So I remember showing up, and I was in this like sea of little people in the waiting room, and thinking like, man, I need to have a conversation with my agent, because I am petite, I'm 5 feet of fun, but I am technically proportionate.
Yes.
Like, one of us was not like the other, and I figured I had no chance, you know what I mean? But it was a good lesson, at the end of the day, I'm an actor, not a casting person, and it's not really my job to cast the thing, it's just to go in and do my best. So yeah, I had this, I auditioned, I did the monologue of Jessica's, then they handed me a ball. They asked me to try to get them to play with me, as if I were like a 4 or 5 year old, which at the time I didn't know what that was about, obviously. And I remember leaving and, driving home on Laurel Canyon and kind of like just flagellating myself, like, that's the audition you nail. Like, that was awesome, Naomi, and like, you're never gonna get that. Like, why would they cast me like over any of those? My competition was pretty.
And yet here we
fierce,
are.
But hey, I guess, yeah.
Here we are. You did what none of them could do. You absolutely killed it. So, no offense to any of them at all, but.
Well, I will say the makeup actually has a lot to do with it too, believe it or not.
They just covered. Oh, sorry. Fruit platter. Sorry, I didn't see
you could get in on it if you want.
The makeup. My callback was actually a meeting with makeup, where they actually took a bunch of photos of me, which they later manipulated to see what I would look like as a character, which is what they showed to the creator and producers to say, like, what do you want? Because it wasn't just me, it was like a whole series of actresses who they knew could handle the demands of the role, and they just wanted to see who would look best. And as it turns out, the bridge of my nose looked better than the others. So I always think that whenever I've never been, tempted to get a nose job, but whenever people are, I'm like, but you never know, like.
No, I'm happy you didn't, because again, like, everybody, like, and I was mind blown because I remember when I searched you up originally, and I saw you outside of the makeup, I was like, how the hell? Because like, you're, again, not kissing ass, but you're a gorgeous woman. So I was like, how the hell is she that? Like, the makeup though, the makeup was incredible. Like, it was like amazing. So another thing about American Horror Story, real quick, out of the seasons you've done so far, so you've done 3 if I remember correctly. You've done Asylum, you've done Freak Show, and now you've done American Horror Stories.
I also was in Apocalypse.
You were in Apocalypse. Holy crap! See,
I was the Satanist.
you were. See, I was wrong. So out of the 4 seasons that you've been in so far, if we had to pick which one do you think would be your personal favorite out of all the ones that you watched?
As a participant, Freak Show.
Freak Show?
We were on location. We were in New Orleans.
Oh, Freak Show.
My role was that much better. I really had like a whole character arc.
So much more depth to the character.
Yeah.
Like I said, like we talked about earlier, when I saw how you wound up in Asylum, into the Asylum, like that was a heartbreaker. Like I was like, damn, man. I know that was good. So a few more questions for you because I know you're a busy woman, and again, we're live right now. So
Oh, it's live.
no, this isn't
Oh,
live.
okay, I
Like
was
we're
like-
live. We're at Comic-Con, so I'm telling them it's live because I'm uploading this as soon as we're done pretty much.
Okay.
So, any new work that you're currently doing right now?
Well, I have a new solo show that I've wrote throughout COVID, which I'm ready to get to producing. So that's
Awesome.
really what's next. I did do a movie last summer, fall called Replica with Mickey Rourke.
Oh, wow,
so
that's awesome.
I'm imagining that'll be coming out this year. But indie movies, you just never know.
Yeah, I would assume this year. Like normally, it seems good to be like a year after, give or take around.
Yeah. I mean, my work's done,
Yeah.
like I never know.
So now it's just a waiting
People
game.
are like, what's next for you? And I'm like, well, what's next for me is different than what maybe seems like it's next.
Exactly.
Because I was wrapped in September, but they're maybe just barely beginning, for all I know.
Okay, so you got any other upcoming shows that we need to know about?
Not that you need to know about.
Aww. Gotta get to Frightmare again. Frightmare's coming up. We need to get you out there again. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, well, you're going to work on that, right?
Yes, Lloyd, I know you're gonna see this. I'm gonna message you. Let's get her out there, please. That'd be great. So next things, always ask this. I want to make sure I ask you. God, fans are gonna be watching this. They're gonna see you. They're gonna what would you like to say to your fans, and what would you like to be remembered for?
Well, I think I'll be remembered for Pepper.
No, I'm saying what would you like to be remembered for? Like at the end of the day, what was the one thing that you would like to be remembered for?
Well, I want this next show to be all that. And
Oh, yeah.
so, yeah, I want, it hasn't happened yet. So it's hard to forecast the future like that.
Yeah.
But it's work I'm really proud of that I'd like it to be in every home.
That it should be. That is a good goal. Honestly, I think you're going to be remembered for being just a great actress
Aw.
and for busting your ass and that right there. That's my personal
Well, the
take on
show
it.
itself, my new show is called American Horror Story, and it is literally
I
about
love the
that.
wordplay,
It's about me busting my butt. So yeah.
and you do. Speaking of the butt, you guys this lady has an iconic backside. I guess we're gonna say it like that. I remember last year we were talking about you had a party. And I can't remember what you said. You mentioned something about your backside have they had little toys or something like that that were made.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, the party's done, but yes, there was some trivia, and yeah, you could win my butt on a keychain.
And that's great. That is awesome. If you ever get more of those,
The
I need to
people that
grab one.
won are all my girlfriends, so.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to get one at some point. If you ever have any more, I'm definitely gonna get one from you.
You have to know your trivia.
I got this.
How much do you know about Neo Universal?
I probably know a good amount, not right now because I'm intoxicated, but when I'm not, I know a pretty good amount. And then the last question I wanted to ask you, we asked this of everybody and every celebrity that we've interviewed for the past year. We've asked them, what is your favorite scary movie?
My favorite is Rosemary's Baby.
That's great.
I just love, I love this, I love the 60s. I love that kind of aesthetic, the whole, I loved her haircut. I love just the design. I'm an architect's daughter, and my dad did, and still does for that matter, sort of mid-century modern architecture, and so the whole look, that whole kind of early 60s
That's awesome.
look. Besides, it's sort of a female story, which I relate to, so it's just, I love that movie.
That is true. Hey, would you say that's the movie that got you into horror movies to begin with?
No, nothing got me into horror movies other than American Horror Story.
Oh, she's a baby. You're tiny. You're new in the community.
I am. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty since, but I'm an imposter. I really was a comedian who slipped and fell into a horror hole.
Yeah. And now you're stuck here. You're with the rest
Now
of us.
I'm in it.
We are a very loving and intense community. Like horror movies are our thing. So, like, yeah, you're one of us now. You're stuck.
Yeah. No going back.
But
Once you go horror, you never.
I was gonna say, how are we gonna do this? Once you go horror, you never.
You never do more.
More.
Oh. I don't know if that works.
We'll go with it. We'll just roll with the punches. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Is there anything else you'd like to say at all? Just to anybody, anything?
I don't think so. You were pretty good.
Yeah. I'm trying to rush this. I'm sorry, guys. She has a panel that she has to do, so I'm like making sure she gets there. So thank you. It was amazing. I appreciate everything. Thank God we were able to do this. Like, you are amazing. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Guys, I'm going to link her Patreon on this video, and I am going to link her Facebook page, like the whole nine, that you guys can, support her. Get her stuff.
The only way you're going to get this iconic booty.
I'm about to get one. So, guys, until the next one, this is Jeff. This is Naomi. Peace. Bell bottoms.